Good morning, everyone. Today I'm gonna tackle the plant cell and the animal cells and their various functions and how they differ from each other. For today's session, I'm gonna tackle about cells, and in accordance, we're gonna as if we're inside in a laboratory so that we can so that our session for today is gonna be like inside a laboratory when we're going to study them inside a microscope. So in this juncture, I'm gonna talk about the animal cell. Now, it is the typical of eukaryotic cell enclosed by a plasma membrane and contains a membrane-bound nucleus and organelles. Unlike eukaryotic cells of plants, animal cells do not have a definite cell wall. So, naaya ang nucleus, naaya nucleolus, ang Golgi ang rough endoplasmic reticulum, na ang smooth endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, the mitochondria, the cell membrane, the lysosomes, and the centrosome, and of course the ribosomes, and of course the cytoplasm. Plant cells are the basic unit of life for all the plant cell. It is a eukaryotic cell, which means it has a membrane-bound organelles. And of course, it also has its own nucleus. Hello again, guys. Today I'm gonna tackle about the main functions and the different types of organelles that can be found in the animal cell. Now, let's start about the nucleus. So, as you can see, animal cells are typical of eukaryotic cells. They are enclosed by a plasma membrane and contains a membrane-bound organelles. Unlike some eukaryotic cells, plants and animal cells do not have a definite cell wall. So, let's start about the nucleus. Nucleus stores the cell's hereditary material or DNA. Next is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. As you can see, endoplasmic reticulum, its responsibility is the storage and synthesis of lipids that includes cholesterol and phospholipids. And the RER, which is the moraog, let's put in say the partner of the endoplasmic reticulum, is the RER, and its responsibility is the synthesis of proteins, its modification and packaging, and of course its quality control. Next is the ribosomes. Ribosomes are responsible for making proteins. We all know how important proteins are in the making of cells. Next is cytoplasm. So, cytoplasm here, this blue, kanang blue dia. Cytoplasm is responsible for holding components of the cell and protects it from being damaged. So remember that without cytoplasm, so kanang mga cells, animal cells, daghan man kay na sila nga inside sa isa ka animal, no? So kung magbangga-bangga na sila, naay possibility nga mag-damage sila and mabungkig. So with the help of cytoplasm here, ma-minimize ang damage sa cells. Next is the cell membrane. So, cell membrane provides protection for the cell and transports nutrients inside the cell and transports nutrients outside the cell. So, for example, if naay mga toxins diha, iya nang ipagawas, and if na siya makita nga nutrients, iya ang ipasulod sa cells. Muna siya ang trabaho sa cell membrane. Remember that. Next is the mitochondrion. So mitochondrion or the mitochondria is one of the most famous part of the cells kasi nga because sa phrase nga it is the powerhouse of the cell, and know that it is named the powerhouse of the cell because the main source of energy of the cells can be found in the mitochondrion. Next is the Golgi apparatus, the kaning orange. The Golgi apparatus transports, modifies proteins and lipids to be exported from the cell. So remember that sila ang mag-transport o modify sa proteins and lipids pagawas sa cell. Next is the ribosomes. So ribosomes are manamanalitan na, so ito lang ibalik, responsible for making proteins. Next is the lysosomes. Lysosomes break down excess or worn out cell parts. So as you can see, cell parts man gyud po no, ma-expired man gyud po sila. So sila ang magpagawas ato. Next is muna to siya. Sige. So, hello. So, in this juncture, we're gonna tackle about the different cells and the different parts of the plant cell and its various functions. Now, plant cells are one of the eukaryotic cells, which means that it has membrane bound organelles, but unlike the animal cell, the plant cell has the central vacuole, the cell wall, and of course it has its own cytoplasm. So let's start about the plant cell. So plant cell are the basic unit of all plants. And of course it has its own nucleolus, which function is the synthesis of RNA and ribosomes. So let's part again. So inside the nucleus, the nucleolus can be found, and the nucleolus main function is the ribosomal RNA synthesis and the ribosomal biosynthesis. Next is the nucleus, which contains the plant cell's DNA material. Same ragapon sila sa nucleus. Function sa nucleus sa animal cell. Next is the RER, which is the RER kanisha. The RER, which responsibility is the synthesis of proteins and its modification. Next is the soft endoplasmic reticulum, which is also the responsible one for the storage and synthesis of lipids. Next is the ribosomes. Kani. Di kayo siya makita, no? So ribosomes are the responsible for the making of proteins. Next is the peroxisome. The peroxisome generates two phytohormones, photorespiration, and conjunction with mitochondria and chloroplast. Next is the Golgi apparatus, which is the responsible for transporting, modifying, and packaging of proteins and lipids into vesicles. Now, Golgi vesicles are the membrane-bound organelles that forms budding from Golgi apparatus. Next is the cytoplasm. Kaning green nga makita diya kung asa naka-place ang different organelles sa plant cell. So cytoplasm is the one who's responsible for holding the components of plant cell. Next is the cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton helps cell maintain its shape and internal organization. Next is the mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is the main energy source of all the plant cell, the same gapon sa animal cell. Next is the biggest one and the one who fills the most space inside the plant cell is the central vacuole. Now it is bounded by a single membrane and it is full of water. And with the combination its function is the combination of reservoir, waste dump, storage region, and keeps the cell in shape. So mouna sila ang various parts sa plant cell. So okay guys, so my insights is that animal cells and plant cells both are very necessary to us and to our surroundings, especially about the plant cells and animal cells. The plant cells and animal cells are both the basic unit of all the animals and plants that we found in our surroundings, and even to those places that we cannot see in our naked eye. Now, learning the various parts and their functions is very important in studying biochemistry, because biochemistry is a branch of science that deals with biology together with chemistry. And when we say biology, the basic thing that we must learn is how to know the cells and their functions so that we can study them together with chemistry. And when we put the chemistry, we can learn how it affects the biological functions of an species. And that's all guys. Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Trixie, and in this part I'm gonna just tell you the procedure of which I did, how I have done my plant cell, the 3D model of my plant cell and animal cell. First is that I had to search for the I had to search in the Google of how the model of both the animal cell and the plant cell, and next is that I have to make an outline of how I can make them, and the third one is I have searched for materials, and of course when I've searched the materials, I have learned that my materials are not enough, so I have to buy them. And the last one is that I started them to make. I'm sorry if I have just because all guys.